No DQ Galaxy, we are live with a recap of the WWE WrestleMania 40 kickoff event in Las Vegas, Nevada at the T-Mobile Arena. Thousands of fans showed up for this big event. A lot to discuss here. I am being joined by Sun Goshiku, who was watching live. Sun, without giving away what happened, how are you feeling about WrestleMania 40 right now?
Well, first, as per my usual introduction, hey everybody, Son Goshoku here. It's been a long time, and I'm ready to talk. It's exciting, and I wasn't getting all up and angry like a lot of fans were online, and we'll talk more about that as to why. But I think I got a much clearer path now to where we're headed in terms of the main event.
Absolutely, although there still might be questions as to what is going to happen as we get to WrestleMania. G-Thang sent in a $5 super chat. G-Thang, I will get to that in just a little bit here. I do want to discuss what happened in the beginning part of the press conference. Shout out to everybody watching this live or on demand. We also have Walter Cruz joining us tonight. Walter, without spoiling anything, how are you feeling about WrestleMania?
I'm excited. I just came off my own reactions and I was on live doing that. Way to support me there, Aaron. But no, I'm kidding. You know, I love you guys. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This got me real excited, but it raised a lot of questions just as much as it answered. So we'll get into it.
Absolutely. So we had CM Punk, Big E, Pat McAfee, and Michael Cole discussing what was possibly going to happen with the WrestleMania main event. CM Punk did a great job, by the way. I thought he handled himself very well, all things considered, with the injury. They brought up the Pat McAfee show, so it was very interesting. I do want to get your guys' thoughts on the Pat McAfee comments before we move on to the rest of the press conference. Now, shout out to Josh Mansfield, who sent in a $2 super chat, says, well, they did it. They got me hooked. Let's effing go. There you go. Josh Mansfield is hyped up for WrestleMania. A comment here to grow my hair out. I wish I could. And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, who's your favorite bald guy, Stone Cold or Krillin? Who's that?
Oh, that must be for me. Oh, man, dang. Well, you know, Stone Cold's my all-time favorite character when it comes to pro wrestling and WWE. Krillin, you know, I love him, but I'm a Son Goku guy, so I gotta go with Stone Cold. Krillin's a popular character from Dragon Ball, but he's not on the main
I was going to say it's
level.
an anime question, Aaron.
Yeah. Right. Krillin's like the mid-card, Austin's the main event.
I mean, that's like asking me a football question. You know, I'm not going to know anything about it. Nothing against anime. I'm not familiar with those characters. But anyways, we had the Pat McAfee show, and The Rock was on there, and he was definitely pushing some buttons. We got a little bit of Hollywood Rock during that appearance. He referred to some of Cody's fans, not all of them, just some of them, as Cody crybabies, and he made fun of them, like how these fans, they're eating chicken McNuggets while tweeting, and instead of wanting to have sex with their wife, they want to complain on Twitter about Cody not being able to finish the story. So, Son, I'll start with you. What were your thoughts on The Rock's comments on Pat McAfee's show?
Oh, man, dude. See, this is what I was hearing. I started hearing things about they're going to boo The Rock. Does the man care about being booed? All of us who have lived through The Rock's career, when you boo this man, what did he do? He went from Rocky Maivia to The Rock, and then he went babyface, and they were going to start booing him again as the corporation. And what happened? He was so entertaining, the fans loved him. And then he went, what is it again? A heel for the whole Hollywood Rock. And what happened? The fans, this is the best way I put it. The Rock knows how to go heel and turn those boos into laughters and remind you why we all fell in love with him so much when it comes to his work. So I was glad to see the whole heel Rock shtick. You know, it's what I grew up on. 1999 corporate Rock, Hollywood Rock. That was some of The Rock's best work, and that's coming from someone who was a fantastic babyface, and he's even more of a fantastic heel. So it's good. I'm glad we're seeing some of that classic Rock. It's been years years since we've seen the heel work. So that's what just a testament to Dwayne Johnson's ability. He knows how to go with the flow. You want to cheer him, you want to boo him, it doesn't matter. He's going to go ahead and make you talk about him. I remember at what was it, the Know Your Role 1999 VHS tape. The Rock says, whether you want to boo me or you cheer me, The Rock has the ability to make you chant something, and that's all that matters. That's what I got to say about that.
Thank you for that, son. Well said. I agree that it definitely reminded me of why we all fell in love with The Rock in the first place. Great old school promo from The Rock, working the fans. He worked Mr. Tito. Mr. Tito was DMing Virtue and I, and he was upset. Like he did not like The Rock's comments, and I had to tell him, dude, he's working. He's pushing buttons. He's building up hype for WrestleMania. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Psycho Jet Black. He says, who's the better Flash, Wally West or Barry Allen? Is that for
that's for
Walter?
me because I got the Flash shirt. Yeah.
Okay,
Barry Allen to me.
All right, thank you for that, Psycho Jet Black. But please try to stick to wrestling here so we don't go all over the place. All right, Walter, any thoughts you have on The Rock's Pat McAfee show appearance?
Yeah, see what I'm doing? He leaned into that. He leaned right into that heel character. It's like water off a duck's back. He doesn't care. He leaned right into it, and he went heel, and I loved it. The crybaby Cody. I bet you. I guarantee he'll get that over, and there'll be a hashtag Cody Crybabies on that. I guarantee it.
All right, well, thank you for that, Walter. And joining us now, we have Mikey T, the movie star, to make it a foursome tonight. Mikey T, welcome. We were just talking about The Rock's appearance on Pat McAfee. Any thoughts you had on that segment? And without spoiling the press conference, your overall thoughts on WrestleMania 40 right now. Go ahead.
I'm really in disbelief right now. I don't even know what's going to be happening for WrestleMania 40. Are they going to do a tag team match on night one with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins versus The Rock and Roman Reigns because The Rock is contracted to compete? So they've got to do something. And then will they do the solo matches on night two with Drew McIntyre and Seth and then Roman Reigns and Cody? I really don't know the direction. Are they going to save that major tag team match for Saudi Arabia?
Well, let me just say this without spoiling anything else from the press conference. WWE just tweeted it out. Triple H tweeted it out. They officially made the poster for WrestleMania 40. We'll talk about that here in just a few moments. Thank you, Josh. I got the DMs and stuff. But
as far as
Mikey,
the podcast, what was said on the podcast, Aaron? Because I didn't catch it.
Oh, so you didn't catch it? Okay, then we won't get your thoughts on it. The Rock called some of Cody's fans Cody crybabies.
I heard that tonight on the press conference, though. Wow, what a way to address the Cody Rhodes fans, calling them the Cody crybabies. Extremely disrespectful. And, The Rock at this point, with getting all that heel heat, you could honestly, I heard Son Goku saying, that we're seeing heel Rock right now, but honestly, we didn't see much of anything tonight because The Rock was so taken back by the fans' reaction. He didn't say much. Off camera, he dropped a couple F-bombs, though. You could...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was like, we'll do what we want. But we can get into that in a little bit. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Say too much. We'll get to that shortly. By the way, Virtue is in the chat room. Virtue, I sent the link to the No DQ review chat. You are more than welcome to come in and chime in with your thoughts. We would be happy to have you on. So somebody also maybe private message him the link to the StreamYard if you're in the No DQ group. And anybody in the No DQ group who has the link can jump on at any time. All right, thank you. So let's talk about the press conference. We had Triple H coming out there first. To be honest, there really wasn't a lot of stuff noteworthy in the first half of this press conference. It felt like a lot of sizzle without the steak, but I will say we definitely got the steak. Now, Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, what are the best NES games of all time? Of course, he's got to mention my shirt. The Marios, Legend of Zelda, the first one, those are all great. I mean, there were so many classics. This might be an unpopular one, but Castlevania 2, I know the Angry Video Game Nerd kicked off his career ripping into that game, but that was one of my favorites. And it was a hard-ass game, but Uncle Fester's Quest on NES was a fun one for me. I love the music in that game.
I got a couple. I got a couple. Just Batman and Legendary Wings. A lot of people don't know about Legendary Wings, but that was a fun game.
Oh, Contra too. Contra was one of my favorites as a kid. And there's so many more I could mention, but we're not here to talk about video games. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, Mikey T, what's your favorite Aliens guy haircut?
Aliens guy? What is Aliens guy?
Okay, so that's not some kind of reference that is over my head.
Yeah, I'm not really.
No, he said what's with your alien cut?
Okay, I just can't read then.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar. I'm not really familiar what Aliens guys are. Some people have compared it to the Beverly Hills 90210. Someone told me that was a compliment. But, I'm just sick of getting the fade haircuts, to be real with you. You know what I mean? I get a lot of fades. I decided I just want to grow my hair out a little bit. You know what I mean? Expand with some different things.
Well, there you go. There's the answer to that question. All right, so let's talk about what happened before the big segment. So we had several people coming out. Triple H came out first. And by the way, I do have some super chats here. We'll get to those in a few minutes. So trust me, your super chat will not be forgotten about. It is much appreciated. Let's talk about what happened here. So we had Triple H saying that you ain't seen nothing yet. WrestleMania 40 is going to take WWE to a whole new level. He discussed the history of WrestleMania. We had Bianca Belair out there. No Bayley, despite winning the Royal Rumble. Bianca said she doesn't have a road to WrestleMania yet, but she plans on making history, just like she did at WrestleMania 37. She actually mentioned Sasha Banks by name, and she said she will find out what her road is going to be to WrestleMania. She will be there. What do you guys think? I mean, my pick would be Jade Cargill. If they think Jade is ready for the big stage, they teased it at the Royal Rumble. Walter, do you agree with that?
Yes, I would. This is what I would do. I would book Bianca versus Jade. You have Jade win. She goes over. But then they shake each other's hand, show respect, form a tag team, and now you legitimize the tag team titles. You have them have a run with the title, and now you totally just made the titles legit by having her do that.
Son, anything you would like to add to that? I mean, if it was your choice, who would face Bianca Belair at WrestleMania?
Well, I still am sticking with what I mentioned in terms of the comments a while back ago, I think on one of the No DQ reviews. I think the best option would be to have Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill team up to take on the Kabuki Warriors at WrestleMania 40. And you can sort of treat it similar to what they did with Big Show and Undertaker. In terms of on screen, Undertaker was being a mentor to the Big Show, but we knew in real life he was also teaching the Big Show as well a lot about how to work within the WWE style, because there was only so much WCW, and ironically that's what we're hearing a lot. There was only so much that Jade Cargill had learned in AEW. So Bianca, being a veteran on the roster now, you can use this time where she can help teach Bianca Belair a lot as far as the business goes for WWE in real life, while at the same time building them up as the tag team champions, and then do a whole like mega powers explode type of deal where Bianca and Jade Cargill eventually go into wrestle each other. So I think right now, best to be allies and build to them eventually being enemies. So I think that's still the best course of action as Bianca Belair goes 4-0 at WrestleMania.
I like that idea of doing a tag match because it would protect Jade Cargill with the inexperience factor. She could come in and do a hot tag or something and not have to have the pressure of doing a singles match. Mikey T, any thoughts on this? Like, what should be done with Bianca for WrestleMania?
I like Walter's idea of they have the match at WrestleMania. They come together at the end of the match based on respect, and then they put together a team to challenge maybe somebody else, maybe the Kabuki Warriors, and a later date, possibly SummerSlam. That would probably be good for that. I think doing that so quick at WrestleMania might put a little bit of damage on damage control, the Kabuki Warriors, because they need to have a little bit of a run with those titles, and legitimize those titles again for the next few pay-per-views. Now, Jade and Bianca, This would give Bianca something to do for the next 4 to 5 months leading into SummerSlam, and then if they have an eventual breakup as a team, because right now she's treading in water, but you know she's not really doing much is the thing. So to take on that role model type gimmick with Jade Cargill, I think that'll be cool.
All right, thank you for that. Oh, Walter.
The only reason I say you do the one-on-one first is because, like I said, you build it out of respect. Too many times teams are just randomly put together with no story and no reasoning. So if you do it that way, you gave some kind of reasoning first, then you give them their run. Because how many times have people just come together and you're like, what the hell is the point of them being teamed up? Like Dewdrop or whatever you want to call her. She just literally grabbed the belt from Chelsea Green and was like, I'm your partner. Like, that was random as hell. So, like, at least you do it based off respect, then you legitimize it a little.
And I want to point out that Jade Cargill looked like money in the Rumble. You know, she's been doing a lot of training. She looks great. And I think she needs a showcase match. And Bianca is going to be the one to carry her through that match and make her look great in the ring.
Well said, everybody. We also had Rhea Ripley coming out there, and she questioned why Bayley chose Io Shirai, using her old NXT name, instead of her at WrestleMania. Rhea brought up Nia Jax getting through her at Elimination Chamber, but then Becky Lynch interrupted the promo, and Becky vowed to win the women's Elimination Chamber and challenge Rhea for the women's title at WrestleMania. Becky said Mommy is going to find out what it's like to be on the bottom, because that's what happens when the man comes around. Now, we do have a few super chats here regarding this. Mr. Anderson sent in $5. Thank you for that. Says, having Becky Lynch come out and confronting Rhea before the Elimination Chamber match was dumb. Becky hasn't even won the match. I mean, yeah, that's the big negative here, is like, it's painfully obvious that Becky Lynch is winning here. They did the big tease with all the press there. I mean, it's like a foregone conclusion at this point. And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, I thought we were getting Bianca versus Rhea Ripley. Becky versus Rhea has been teased for months. Like we talked about a few moments ago, Bianca's probably going in a different direction, but she is going to try and get into the chamber match. Son, your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, definitely. It's a match I've been waiting to see right now, Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. But what I think is the reason why they're waiting is because they want this to be a big deal, like main eventing WrestleMania level big deal. And so I figured they probably knew with CM Punk coming back and then The Rock and Cody and Seth winning his main event, they probably figured not this time. I can see that that's the only reason why they're holding this match off as long as they want to. It's possibly that's what they want as one of the main events for WrestleMania 41.
Yeah. Can I add also that I think the match had a stronger potential when both Bianca and Rhea were the champions, because I remember that confrontation. Like, that never really left my mind when they had that confrontation both as champions. Would have been a great match.
Any other thoughts, Walter, on the Elimination Chamber in this segment? I mean, is it too predictable here, Becky winning?
I think they pretty much gave it away. You kind of know what's going to happen. It's got to be this.
Derek W sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, mommy. I mean, that's going to be a great match, Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley. But yeah, I think it's a foregone conclusion at this point, regardless of who's in the women's chamber match. All right, so now we are going to talk about the big segment here. And again, I have everyone's super chats, so I will get to those in just a few moments here. So Seth Rollins came out first to talk, and he called out Cody Rhodes to make his decision for WrestleMania. Instead, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, came out there, and they were insulting each other. Roman Reigns was called out. Seth Rollins said that Roman Reigns finally showed up to work, and Reigns was like, well, you showed up to work wearing your wife's shoes. And then Reigns called Cody Mr. Hesitation, and Cody has now lost his moment, according to Reigns. Reigns said he is making the decision now, and he has chosen The Rock as his opponent for WrestleMania. And we had The Rock come out to confront Roman Reigns, and he got a very mixed reaction. Although I will say, like, I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but it felt like everybody kind of got a mixed reaction. Although Roman might have actually gotten the biggest pop of anybody. They were chanting Tribal Chief when he came out there, but even Cody got some mixed reactions. When The Rock was talking, there was like a "We want Cody, no we don't" chant. So wasn't like overwhelmingly for Cody, and The Rock definitely had his fans, but they were booing him too. And some people felt like he came off as a little bit rattled. The Rock introduced everyone to the Cody Crybabies, as mentioned on the Pat McAfee show. And then The Rock showed this big graphic of the bloodline, the family tree, their long family tree. And Rock said that if the family tree isn't proof that there was only one dominant and royal family in pro wrestling, then it doesn't matter what you think. So at this point, I figured, okay, something's happening here with Cody. The Rock just took a little shot at Cody Rhodes because that's Cody's line. Wrestling has more than one royal family. And sure enough, Cody Rhodes came out. Cody Rhodes was pissed off. He said that it was bullshit, and this was the first of several profanities that got through the censors here. They did censor a few things, but we did get quite a bit of profanity here. And Cody said Roman Reigns doesn't dictate who challenges for the championship at WrestleMania. Cody then revealed he has made his choice. He is choosing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for the World Championship to finish the story. And Roman was not happy about this. Roman said that Cody finishing the story, nobody cares about it. Roman said that Cody should go fight for the secondary title and that he's irrelevant now, just like his dad. So a little personal shot there at Cody Rhodes from Roman Reigns. And Cody responded with a shot of his own. He said that it doesn't matter who the head of the table is when neither Rock or Roman Reigns have been cooking for the past 2 years. And then Cody had another line that really pissed off The Rock. Cody said that Reigns' grandfather would be ashamed of him. And at this point, The Rock, he got fired up. He said that when Cody talks about Roman Reigns' family, he's talking about The Rock's family, and now they have a problem. At this point, The Rock slapped Cody Rhodes in the face, and all hell broke loose. Triple H and officials were out there trying to break this up. Seth Rollins was pissed off. Seth Rollins started yelling out profanities at The Rock, and The Rock was yelling profanities back at Seth Rollins. And then we cut to the backstage area. The Rock with Roman Reigns by his side. They're walking back there together, and The Rock warned Triple H to fix things. And he said they're not going to allow Cody to talk shit about the bloodline, and Triple H needs to take care of this. And then they stormed off. So we went to the panel at this point, and they were questioning what's going on. But as of this moment, the main event is Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. WWE has the graphic. Triple H tweeted it out. So as of now, that's official, but still a lot of questions as to where this is all going to go. Now, let me get to some of the super chats here, and then I'll get your guys' thoughts. Derek W. sent in $2 and said, Rock did look a little rattled, but he is an actor. And he was getting some what chants. They were chanting what at him at one point. So, yeah.
He leaned into it, though. The way he talked, he leaned into the what.
He definitely did.
Also, he's boys with Stone Cold. He's heard Austin's promos. He knows how to deal with the what chants. That's what I'm talking about. That's why he was pausing, waiting, pausing, talking, pausing.
But you could also tell he was still going to say all that cliche stuff that people would what. And it's like, yeah. And that's why when Pat McAfee at the end of it, he's like, oh, The Rock is back like this. I'm coming back to the WWE like this. This is interesting. Because usually it's just how CM Punk always comes out and is nice. So that's what he expected from The Rock. But maybe it's Hollywood Rock.
And Psycho Jet Black sent in a couple super chats. Shout outs to Mikey and Son. Big fan of those guys, and I am as well. Yes, he's got some more in here. So let's talk about the slap. G-Thang sent in $5. He said that slap to Cody was a slap to all the Cody cry babies. I loved it. That was a great moment. You know, in these press conferences, we see things get heated like it tends to happen, whether it's wrestling or in sports. So that was a great moment that's going to get press, and people are going to be talking about that. That's going to be on ESPN's website. That's going to be the big headline. So, Walter, what were your thoughts on that slap from The Rock and The Rock's overall demeanor? Felt very heelish, him basically on Roman Reigns' side against Cody Rhodes. Your thoughts?
He slapped the living hell out of Cody. Like, I think he leaned into that and like he must have told Cody backstage, I'm slapping you for real. And Cody was like, all right, bring it, because that was hardcore slapping. That wasn't like some WWE kind of slap. Like he really hit him. And it's like, it's going to be the slap heard around the world. You're going to see it on every replay. X is going to explode. Facebook's going to explode. Everything's going to explode with the smack heard around the world. You're going to see a million memes now, a million different kind of things that are going to go viral. And I loved it. And yeah, this is 03 Rock, because this was heel Rock, and he didn't do anything. And that graphic, by the way, that Bloodline graphic, that would make an awesome tattoo. He should just get that tattooed now, because that looked like an awesome graphic. Whoever did that did a good job. Whatever graphic team did that. But yeah, Rock leaned into it. And I find it interesting backstage. He didn't say to Triple H, let him talk shit about our bloodline and watch what happened. He said, have him talk shit. Almost like he said, you wrote that in the script. You better not do that again. Like, almost like that's how I took it. The way he said it, he said, have him talk shit about my family again and see what happens. Like, it was just a heated argument. But again, Rock is a good actor. All this was, people need to calm down. And this is why I said people shouldn't have jumped to conclusions until this presser happened. You shouldn't have jumped down everybody's throat. You shouldn't have ran and made all the comments you made. Let it cook. Ironically, smell what The Rock is cooking. Let everything happen. And then we'll see what happens, because this was awesome. Like this, but like I said, it raised more questions than it answered. So we got to see where they go from here. But The Rock was passionate as hell. Cody was passionate as hell. It all in all was just awesome. And I'm surprised that Seth is out there. He needs to rehab this knee. He shouldn't be in these little struggles and flying on planes every day and being on every Raw. Like, relax. Like, I understand the presser, but you don't have to keep showing up on Raw, because like, I'm just afraid he might get pushed by accident in a thing like this, or something might happen and he lands wrong, and that we built all this for no reason, and then it blows. Like, I would wrap Seth Rollins in bubble right now until WrestleMania.
Well,
like, whatever the plans are.
Speaking of Seth Rollins, Jason XP sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. He says, am I the only one who feels like they're burying Seth Rollins and his title? So yeah, some people thought that Seth Rollins looked very poor in this segment as the secondary champion, but we got to see what they do. Like, there's all sorts of theories right now about where this is going to go. Are they going to do a tag match at some point? Like, a lot of different ways this can go. So I'm going to throw it over now to Mikey. Mikey, your thoughts on the slap and just Seth Rollins' overall presence in all this, and right. Where do you think this might go?
Well, I mean, Seth Rollins is kind of looking like Asuka when she was the SmackDown Women's Champion a few years ago, and then they took the title off of her before WrestleMania because they didn't really have any plans for her. Obviously, they're not going to do that with Seth Rollins. He's going to find a secondary feud. You know, that it's just the fact that the fans' reaction has been so strong. You know, for the last 9-10 months, we've been conditioned to think that Cody's going to be finishing the story and that The Rock more than likely wasn't going to return. And, you know, when The Rock just came out there, you could just see the visual disappointment. And it's like, wow, we waited 1 year too long. Because if the WWE had done this last year, the fans would have been eating it up insanely. They just waited 1 year too long, you know. Now, as far as the smack, when Cody Rhodes started disrespecting The Rock's, well, I mean, he didn't really disrespect The Rock's family. He just said that The Rock's and Roman's family would be disappointed in Roman Reigns, which is kind of like, Obviously not. I mean, Roman Reigns has taken on a legacy that none of us really thought he could have got to, you know, with the cookie cutter baby face he was. I think he's a character really worth being proud of now. We'll remember him in the history. Now, if Cody really wanted to say something, he could have said something like, my dad is actually really more popularized than your dad. If you ask 9 out of 10 people, they're going to know who Dusty Rhodes is before they know who the High Chief Peter Maivia is. Let's just be real. You know, your everyday casual fan is going to know Dusty Rhodes before they know them. We've seen Dusty Rhodes throughout the mid 90s into the early, 2000s, even in his NXT run. And I'm not even accounting for that, but I'm just being real. But Cody isn't really hitting with these real haymakers. Cody is being a company guy. The only reason Cody went out there is because TKO allowed him to go out there. TKO said, Cody, we're sorry. The Rock is going to be the main event. You know what I'm saying? But the fans have cried out so passionately. You know, they're booing The Rock, for crying out loud. This is like a rehash of what happened at the Rumble. So I see the disappointment in The Rock's face, but he smacked Cody and Cody fell down on a knee and Cody looked kind of weak. Maybe that'll play on ESPN and all that. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe Rhonda was right, Aaron. Rhonda's been saying Cody Rhodes is going to pin The Rock in the end.
You never know. Now, Seth Rollins sent in a $5 super chat, and I appreciate everyone's patience. We're trying to get to everybody here. I got all the super chats, so they will all be read. Seth said, I don't know, but this entire lead up has to leave you with a bad taste in your mouth. If you've been wanting Rock versus Reigns, it's been teased for so long. Now, I feel like there could be more twists and turns. We may still get Rock versus Reigns at WrestleMania, just on a different night, you know, or it could be a triple threat. Like you never know what they're going to do here. Son, any thoughts on the slap and the potential of Rock versus Reigns? Do you think it's still going to happen? What are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, quite a few things here. Okay, first, Mikey T, while I do understand the business decision of wanting to get Roman to 1,000 days, I do agree with you that had they just had Cody finish the story last year, and then we have The Rock come in this year, nobody would even give a care. But it's the way WWE wanted to go about doing things. And Walter, I too was a little concerned when I saw on Monday night when Seth Rollins took a back bump from Drew McIntyre doing his the headbutt that he does, and I was like, I'm like, should he be taking bumps like that when he's still recovering? So yeah, but yeah, as far as this whole segment goes, I thought it was intense. I enjoy it. To me, The Rock didn't look flustered at all. I think The Rock, he had a whole week pretty much to see the reaction. He knows how to lean into that, and so he came out there. You know, he's always just sucking up the energy of the crowd. Like, if I remember, what was it, SummerSlam 2002, when he was like, finally, and the fans were booing, and then he stopped. And he's like, finally. And I'm like, oh, that's when you know we're about to get some heel Rock, when he has to repeat himself like that. So I knew The Rock was going to go in with it. I was yes, like you were mentioning, Aaron, there was quite a mixed reaction. And this one, I think, was free, open to the public. So half of it was the fans that wanted to see Cody, and the other half were the people that wanted to see The Rock. So I thought that was very telling. And as far as The Rock, basically, when he did the slap to Cody and the way The Rock was talking, you know, like Walter mentioned, The Rock's an actor, so he knows how to go to that place. To me, it came off looking, if you guys remember how he was during the John Cena promo when he was talking about the written promo on his arm, and how The Rock's whole demeanor got serious. It was that type of energy that I felt The Rock brought, because he wanted to make it look like this segment was getting personal, and that's what it came off, is that, okay, Rock is done with the jokes, he's done with this, now you insulted his family, and I think that's the way The Rock came off of. But in terms of this whole segment, and I was mentioning this to Aaron, I think maybe before we went on the air, was that when I saw that segment last week, I was like, oh, okay, Cody's probably just going to challenge him in Elimination Chamber. But obviously, we found out it's WrestleMania. So I was surprised to see all the backlash, because I'm like, wait a minute, did anything even get announced here? But it just goes to show you how over Cody Rhodes is with the audience. And the way this whole segment played off, to me, this is what it feels like. This is just one big giant plan to get Cody Rhodes more over as the top babyface. It's like they've decided to align Roman and The Rock together to create a bigger obstacle, get the fans cheering behind Cody Rhodes more, and that's where we're going. And I would say, yeah, that's the official main event, Cody versus Roman, because Cody won the Royal Rumble, like CM Punk was saying on commentary. So I believe that's exactly where they're going. This is just what this all screams to me, is at the end of the day, this is the big moment of Cody Rhodes getting his moment at WrestleMania 40, and I could see where maybe they are going to align The Rock with Roman, and he ends up accidentally maybe costing him the title or something, hopefully not getting too physical, maybe like ends up fighting off the Bloodline members, and this leads to dissension between The Rock and Roman to lead to something bigger, because I have not forgotten about what The Rock has said. He likes to play the long game. He wants to go ahead and do something. So that's what I'm figuring this is all leading towards. So I'm going to just sit back and enjoy the ride, because the one thing I got out of this segment more than anything is WWE wants to make Cody Rhodes the biggest face they can on the road to beating Roman. They wouldn't have leaned into it on Monday Night Raw if that was the case. So that's what I got. And I thought this was done really good. The intensity, I liked that they were actually bleeping out the curse words too. I wish we get more of that in WWE. I understand you have to censor it, but I'm like, it just felt like it added an extra realism to it, stuff that we don't get to see on TV. So this was good. And my only little complaint about this segment is I wish they would have addressed, why did Cody come out and say, no, I am not going to wrestle you at WrestleMania, and he comes out, no, this is BS, I'm taking you on WrestleMania, with no explanation. And I thought The Rock was sort of enemies with Roman when they were going face to face, and now all of a sudden they're walking arms in arms, and I'm like, is this about trying to prove who the top tribal chief is and them both having an issue? Or now they both were like, hey, let's make some money together. And so I wish some of those things would have been more better explained, but overall I really enjoyed it, and I'm here for the ride. I cannot wait, and it's good to get a little bit of that heel Rock back.
Walter, go ahead real quick, and then I got to add to that.
One of the best, I just want to add, one of the best things is Punk's reactions to everything. He's like, you slap that man, you gotta hit him back. And then he admits that Rock is the boss. He's like, yo, your boss just smacked you. Smack him back.
Punk, once again, talking about punching people in the face. Gotta love that.
Love that.
So we got some more super chats here, and we are going to get to all of them. So, Son, you brought up, maybe The Rock turns on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and they did have that line from The Rock several weeks ago where he said he's playing the long game. So, maybe they are going to face off at WrestleMania 41. Maybe they're going to do the match at 40. They're going to have two matches. I mean, there's still a lot of questions here. And the way I saw it is Cody was going to be the nice guy and give Rock the spot. But then when The Rock came out there, The Rock, that key line was saying that the Bloodline is the only one dominant in royal family. Like, that was like when Cody Rhodes hears that, he's like, dude, nope, I'm taking a stand here. And he went out there, and then, Roman and The Rock, it's about the family, and they have their own personal, you know how they are, the family culture, the Samoan culture, they wanted to settle their score within the family, who's the real tribal chief, but at the end of the day, they're still family. So when Cody's out there and he starts getting heated, The Rock took exception to that, and he's backing his relative at the end of the day over Cody. So I thought it all made sense. Now, of course, the question is, how far in advance was all this planned out? Now, we do have a few super chats here, so let me get to those.
In regard to how fast it was planned out, I mean, sometimes we see wrestlers go from face to heel in the middle of a match. I don't doubt that they just went a whole different direction with what happened tonight, with the reaction in there from the people.
Now, Derek W. sent in a $5 super chat. He asked, do you think WWE made a pivot, or was this planned since last SmackDown? So thank you for that, Derek. And Jeff, shout out to Jeff Meacham Network, good old JM Jeff Meacham, Mikey T's best friend. Jeff said, I'll give my thoughts later, but do you panelists feel that Cody's choice was another pivot, or has this been the plan and a demo of lack of fan patience? So we don't know. Like, it's hard to say. With wrestling, the lines are blurred between reality and fiction, and they could always just say, yeah, we had this planned all along. But it's hard to say. I don't know if they were really expecting such a negative reaction, but I like to think that they knew that this negative reaction was coming. When Cody Rhodes was out there and saying, I'm not going to face you at WrestleMania, but I know somebody who has a beef with you. The first thing that popped in my mind when he said that line was, oh boy, a lot of people are not going to like this. Like, I just knew it before I even saw the feedback on Twitter. I just knew in my mind, this is not going to go over well with some fans. And yeah, it did not go over well. So you have to think, I mean, they're smarter than me, right? These guys are running one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world. You know, The Rock is one of the biggest movie stars, arguably the biggest movie star in the world. You would think that these guys know what they're doing, decades of experience, and that this is all part of a master plan, and it's all going to play out, and they're going to make money off of this. And that's one of the reasons why I think we need to not jump to conclusions when something happens on TV. You got to just be willing to let the story play out and see the twists and turns. I mean, and to be fair, I think that over the years, WWE has produced some poor storytelling, and that's why some fans are skeptical that WWE knows what they're doing. But keep in mind, they also produced that storyline with Sami Zayn, which was one of the best storylines in company history. And I think they are capable of telling a great story here and getting the fans invested. But there are going to be twists and turns, and they're gonna make you think it's going one way, but in reality, it's going a different way. They're going to keep you guessing. Mikey?
The thing about WWE storytelling is when it's week to week to week, they really are hitting. You know what I mean? They're really hitting hard every single week when it's back to back to back content. We've seen it with R-Truth. We've seen it with Sami Zayn. We even saw it with Santino Marella. But when Santino got taken off of TV, they never really found a way to reintroduce him. When Sami Zayn was paired with KO, they kind of ran out of stuff within the first 3 to 4 months. So they kind of dropped the ball on that Sami Zayn storyline. And the whole Bloodline storyline has gone to hell now at this point. And I do want to point out, I do agree with you, son. If they had given Cody the title last year, no fans would be disappointed about what we're getting here now with Roman. You know, there's a certain point in a superstar's career when they make that ascension from having to be a WWE champion to now being able to just challenge all sorts of main eventers and be a special attraction at a pay-per-view. Roman Reigns was ready to make that ascension, but we all know they kind of need to break these records that are holding them down, you know, because everybody felt like WWE is changing the landscape of how it is perceived. But I mean, shit. Look what they did to Cody Rhodes. They screwed him. They tried to screw him. They tried to take the Hollywood route by choosing The Rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They tried to pick The Rock, and they got showed. You know what I mean? They got showed that was the wrong decision, and the fans are hating on them about that. They took a gamble, and they lost on that one.
Some fans are supporting The Rock and wanted to see Rock and Roman, as do I. Like, I think we all wanted to see Rock versus Roman. It's just all about the timing of it. Now, Seth Rollins sent in a $10 super chat and says, if they don't give me Rock versus Reigns, I'm spending my WrestleMania money on super chats in the coming days, Aaron, and taking my ass to work instead of taking 2 days off. Good night. And he's angry about it. We're going to get Rock versus Reigns. I don't know if it's going to be this year or WrestleMania 41, but I am highly confident it's coming, and it's just a matter of when. But they got to finish Cody's story. That's the thing. They got to finish Cody's story, and we got to get Rock versus Reigns, and they just got to figure out the timing of it and tell the story right. And we got to give them the opportunity to do it. You got Rock, Triple H, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman. Keep in mind, he's part of this. They're all brainstorming, trying to figure out the best way to play this all out. Walter?
Yeah. You can easily do the tag match that everybody's talking about. Then you get Cody to finish the story. But how he finishes the story is The Rock accidentally, since Roman and Rock are all buddy-buddy now, Rock accidentally costs Roman that title. Now it's back to, that's your fault. And then now SummerSlam, Rock versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Doesn't necessarily have to be WrestleMania. I was an advocate for WrestleMania because Philly. It always about Philadelphia because it's just the history between, not only am I going, but the history between Philadelphia and The Rock with his previous WrestleManias and everything, and then that booing that the Roman and The Rock, that that sits and eats at them. These people have egos. Like, I know we all say that as a joke, but they really do. And that's sitting in the back of their minds that they got booed for that. They want to make up for that. But long-term booking, look what they did with the Mega Powers back in the day. Everybody's talking about WWE doesn't know how to book. Just remember that story. Go back and look at Peacock and go back and look at the whole Mega Powers and how they exploded. That was one of the best stories they ever did. It's second to the Bloodline. It may even be better than the Bloodline because this Bloodline story isn't technically finished.
Right. It's still going on. Who knows what inning we're in? I mean, it could be going on for at least another year. Now, we got a couple super chats here. One from the This Guy Experience. He said, could this be a tag team match? Rockline versus Cody and Seth Rollins. And then Dibs Iffy, not sure how to pronounce that one, says, will the main event be a fatal four-way to unify? So we were talking about the tag match, which I don't know if that's realistically going to happen, but I mean, I sure would like to see it. Like if the stars aligned and it was going to happen, I'd love to see it. So, Son, I'll throw it over to you. Thoughts on the potential tag match and a fatal four-way match? I mean, what do you think about that? Go ahead, Son.
Yeah, something that can't get lost in all this. Clearly, they were setting Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins and CM Punk for that first night one main event of WrestleMania 40. So with Punk out injured and all this, I know a lot of them are thinking maybe they could do Rock and Cody one night, Rock and Roman the other night. And I'm like, oh yeah, how is Seth Rollins supposed to get his main event? Because Seth Rollins, that's his dream to have his first advertised main event at WrestleMania, and the way they went off there, it did make it look like it's a tag team, but I'm just not sure where that's going to lead to. There's so many stories, and in some ways it's kind of glad that we got this whole road to WrestleMania's got our head spinning, because you got 2 months to fill out the gap before we get there. So a lot of different ways this can all go. So I think it's exciting as a fan as well that we got so many possibilities. But I think Seth Rollins has to factor in this some way. I'm just not sure if doing some sort of tag team match with no titles on the line or something, and how that leads into the next main event, how it's going to do. I just think you don't want to convolute things. So that's the only thing with that.
Yeah. And I'm concerned about Rock possibly getting injured. Like, are they going to risk even in a tag match? And Seth Rollins is still hurt too, but he is assuring people he's going to make it for WrestleMania. So do you really want to risk these guys getting hurt before WrestleMania? But we'll see what they do. And Derek W sent in $2 and says, Rock versus Reigns night 1, Cody versus Reigns night 2, which is something that I've been talking about for a while. That could happen. They might go that route, or they may decide to hold off on The Rock for a little bit longer. Maybe The Rock will be the special guest referee at WrestleMania, and then he'll cost Roman Reigns the title and go on to face Roman Reigns at next year's WrestleMania. Like there's a lot of different ways they can go with this. But and Aaron, go ahead.
If they have him contracted this year to compete, that could always change next year with his movie career. If they literally have him contracted to compete this year, they might have to go forward with it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if that happens. I mean, The Rock is part of the TKO board of directors, so he can really call his own shots here. I mean, he's going to be part of WrestleMania one way or another. Like, I definitely think he will be there. Son?
Yeah, this might be a crazy idea, but obviously I imagine Stone Cold Steve Austin's going to be there at least for an appearance at WrestleMania 40, because you want to have all the biggest WrestleMania legends there. I almost got the feeling like, could they be doing Roman with Rock in his corner and Cody with Stone Cold in his corner, just to do one last face-off of Rock and Austin one more time, just squaring up, because obviously there's no need for another match. But I kind of also got that feeling like, okay, if Rock is backing up Roman, Cody's going to need somebody big to back up his corner, and it's WrestleMania 40, and you kind of get that where the two biggest stars of the Attitude Era are sort of passing the torch in some sort of way by letting the current two big stars have the ring. I don't know, but I was wondering, you guys see anything like that going? I imagine Austin's going to be at WrestleMania 40.
Maybe I'm smoking a little bit too much today. I know Walter's on the same level as me, but that sounds like a great idea, man. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was enough. If it wasn't for the timing of Chamber, you could have did the tag match at Chamber, but Aaron said it on one of the streams. Are you really going to have The Rock at 8 a.m. doing something like
Exactly. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. And regarding the potential two matches for Roman. Reigns beats Rock, makes him look super strong for Cody. This is something I mentioned where The Rock loses to Roman Reigns on night one, and then Rock puts over Reigns to the point where Reigns is even more dominant. 1,000 wins. This will be his 1,000th match coming up at WrestleMania. So he'll be even stronger. And then when Cody beats Roman, that makes Cody all the more strong. And he is cementing his legacy as the top guy of the company. And what's funny is Tricks is for Kids sent in a $5 super chat about this. He said, if Cody Rhodes had just gotten cheered in AEW, none of this would be happening. I mean, that's crazy to think. Like, if Cody Rhodes stayed with AEW, we wouldn't be where we're at right now. And also, I'll get to you in a second, Mikey T. Thank you, Tricks is for Kids. There was another comment here, also like a what-if scenario. And now I missed it. Something about, oh, here we go. Psycho Jet Black sent in $5. Thank you guys for the super chats. It says, if Jungle Boy didn't cry about Glass or the Bucks weren't friends with Colt Cabana, then CM Punk would have never left. Then we wouldn't have gotten to this moment either. CM Punk definitely been a big factor in all this as well. So, Mikey T, what did you want to say about all these things happening?
Cody Rhodes in AEW. It's, you know what I mean? It was almost like the same thing that just happened in WWE, because as Tony Khan kept on hiring more and more talent, Cody kept on getting pushed further and down the line of Tony Khan's roster. It was almost like how Christian got a top spot at the beginning, and then they signed Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, and Christian got freaking demoted to being Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus's manager. You know, Tony Khan was really into Cody Rhodes at first, but then he made all these signings and he just kind of like, you know what I mean? Cody Rhodes got like thrown down to the mid card. The same thing almost happened, but I'll say he stood the test of time and showed why he has more potential than CM Punk. Punk comes back at number 27 and gets injured. You know what I mean? That was horrible. Like, how are you going to come in at number 27? That is literally the safest spot and get injured. Like, it just shows that Punk's body isn't really holding up at this point in time, because at first you thought Punk was going to come in and take all of Cody's shine, but you can't do that if you can't even stay healthy.
Yeah, very true. Jay Claude sent in a $10 super chat. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Says, fans on both sides need to relax. Some say be patient, like WWE hasn't given us long-term crap. Some don't want to wait at all, acting like WWE hasn't given us gems. Watch or don't. I mean, we're all invested in this. I mean, the internet is buzzing right now, whether you like it or not. It is generating interest. People are talking about it, and I thought they did a tremendous job tonight with everything. And there's a lot of possibilities. Kyle sent in a $2 super chat. Says Rock versus Rollins night one, and Roman versus Cody with The Rock as referee of night two. I mean, Rock versus Rollins would be very interesting. I don't know if they're gonna. If Rock's going to do more than one match, I really don't know what he's physically capable of doing at this point. And then Miguel sent in $2 and said a fatal four-way for both belts and no unification match. I mean, I get the vibe that people don't want a four-way match. Is that correct, Mikey?
Yeah, Seth Rollins just, he's not there with these guys. After tonight, I'm kind of sold on Cody. You know what I mean? I was really giving you hell, Aaron, for wanting to see a sequel at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Especially with the no DQ site traffic, I would have thought you would have wanted to see Rock versus Roman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rather than just a sequel. But honestly, man, after this whole presser, I'm soured on Rock versus Roman at this point, and I'm all for Roman versus Cody again. And then they could figure this out later on. Because the people want to boo The Rock. I mean, it's bad. It's putting a bad taste in my mouth, and I could certainly see that it's done that for The Rock.
Kyle sent in another super chat. He said, regarding Rock versus Rollins, in an attempt for Rock and Roman to hold all the titles. Like, what do you guys think about that? Like, if The Rock could do it, the question is, can he even do more than one match? That's the big question. We don't know what he's physically capable of doing at this stage. He might only be good for one more match, but if The Rock could do more than one match, is that something you guys would want to see? Rock versus Seth Rollins for the title? Anybody have an opinion on that? Son?
I mean, for me, if The Rock was going to come back to do a series of matches, I don't think you necessarily have to have him get the championship again. He got his one last run against CM Punk, so I don't need to see him. I mean, unless they want to put that new world heavyweight title on him. But yeah, a lot of it's going to depend on what can The Rock's body take, because 11 years ago, I heard, he got really messed up in that match with John Cena, and I think I heard he may even got injured the year prior in the first match with Cena. So I always figured and just got the impression that if Rock's coming back in, it's for one more match, and if it's one, you might as well do the big dream match everybody wants, him versus Roman. So but if he can handle doing more matches, I think he's best used as an attraction for big matches, and you keep the world titles around the current main roster.
And we got a few more super chats here. Derek W. sent in $2, said Seth is out of his depth on this one. And like we said, like, I feel bad for Rollins because he has kind of been lost in the shuffle here, called the secondary champion. So you feel like Rollins has got to get a big moment coming out of this to make him look strong. Mikey?
He needs this match. If Seth Rollins gets this match, it will legitimize that championship, because Seth Rollins is just that hard of a worker. He needs this match desperately. I wish what Walter had said, I wish they could have booked this type of thing for an elimination chamber. We all know Australia deserves it. I would have even given them Sungosku's idea of bringing in Austin, but I really wish they would do this tag team match. It's got they got The Rock signed. They got to do something with him, not a special referee role. The Rock has not been training to be a special referee at this point, and they have not invested the money to make him a special referee. There's too much money in this.
But, I mean, if it's setting up WrestleMania 41, I mean, Matt sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Matt. Says, there was no hostility between The Rock and Roman Reigns. Cody and Rock must have discussed a plan to get Roman on The Rock's side, and Rock will cost Roman at WrestleMania. It almost sounds like WrestleMania 14 when Mike Tyson joined DX only for the double cross. There you go. I mean, could that be a scenario here where The Rock, and that way, because let's face it, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes, like, I think we're all thinking for this match, Cody's going to win, right? So if you tease that, well, maybe The Rock is going to cost Cody, then that creates a little bit of doubt, but then you get the big swerve, kind of like WrestleMania 14, son.
Yeah, I've been thinking of that. Is like, what if this is the idea? And we've all mentioned so many times with how repetitive Roman Reigns matches get, where the bloodline keeps interfering and no one's doing anything about it. So what if Cody Rhodes is like, I'm not going to fall for the same mistake twice. How about me and Cody, and we find out later in the storyline that when they hugged and whispered each other's ears, The Rock whispered into Cody's ears, what they really are doing is this is Cody's backup plan, some insurance, if you think. He's using The Rock as a way to be inside the bloodline and destroy them from within. So when Roman thinks he's got Cody beat and everyone's interfering, The Rock turns his back on him, takes out Paul Heyman, Solo, and Jimmy Uso, and he basically puts his hand towards Cody and says, finish the story. And now it's Cody and Roman one-on-one, and Cody beats him fair and square at WrestleMania. And at the end, we find out this was just one big ruse from Cody and The Rock. I think that would be brilliant storytelling if that's the direction they're going.
I mean, that could be where it's going. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2 and says WrestleMania 41 will be a better sequel than Ghostbusters 2, but he actually meant WrestleMania 40. So to quote R-Truth, his bad. Yep.
My bad.
My bad. Maybe we'll see something with R-Truth at WrestleMania. Maybe he'll try to join the bloodline.
He's got to think he's like the host of WrestleMania this year. He'd be like, I'm the host of WrestleMania. Truth, you are not the host of WrestleMania.
Nah,
I'm not.
You got to get him versus JD.
I would like to see CM Punk host WrestleMania. I think that'd be fun.
Truth, you are not the host. You know what I mean? Punk would be yelling at him. That'd be classic.
Yeah, so we'll see if we get a little bit of comedy with that. We got to have R-Truth with The Rock in some segment just for fun. Like they got to do that when The Rock's around. And Psycho Jet
Survivor Series 2011.
Yeah, there you go.
Truth just goes in and it's like, I got to finish my story. And The Rock's like, what story? What the hell are you talking about? Like, that'd be hilarious.
They got to do it. Psycho Jet Black says, would you rather be slapped by The Rock or Will Smith?
Will Smith. Rock this Diesel, man. I'm not taking that smack.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, The Rock is a big dude, so I think The Rock's would hurt just a little bit more. Now, Hamp Connell sent in $5. Thank you, Hamp. Says, Biggie mentioned after the segment that WrestleMania is 2 nights. That tells me that that's the path they're going with, which I'm not a fan of whatsoever. So if it is Roman versus Rock on one night and Cody versus Roman on the other night, do you guys think that's a good move? I mean, I've been talking about this for the longest time. And Mikey, that would mean that Rock would wrestle, and you said they got to have him wrestle. So what are your thoughts on that scenario with the 2 matches?
You said Cody versus Roman and then Rock versus Roman?
Right.
I mean, like I said, man, The Rock getting booed like that, no matter the situation at this point, they are going to boo The Rock. But I think what you played out about the Mike Tyson scenario, that is legitimately what this could be. Because The Rock is making the Bloodline cool, just like Tyson made DX cool. When they walked out of that arena together, it just looked so badass. And then Roman was like, "You're lucky we're here." And it was like, damn, all right, Roman's on his shit tonight too. You know what I mean? So Rock coming in, doing this, and then classically turning on him, that's the only way for The Rock to get his pop back.
Now, here's an interesting idea, talking about the idea that maybe The Rock's temporarily a heel or acts like a heel. What if it's Cody versus The Rock on night 1 with the winner going on to night 2? Cody wins, beats The Rock, and then night 2, The Rock comes out there and you think The Rock is going to cost Cody, but he ends up helping Cody and costing Roman Reigns, and that sets up WrestleMania 41. Is that a possibility? What do you guys think about that? Walter, do you have an opinion on that?
That's not a bad idea. I'm telling you, this road to WrestleMania has so many forks in it. We don't know what road to take, and that makes it awesome. I think genuinely WrestleMania 40 has drawn, and I'm not saying that bias because I'm going, but it's drawn more interest than the last like 5 WrestleManias. WrestleMania has kind of especially before the 2 nights, WrestleMania has like kind of lessened what it is. And then all those hours, and it's like, I'm glad the last like 3 or 4, I think it's like 3 or 4 that they've done 2 nights. It's been okay, but that'd be awesome. And like, who knows what road to take? All ideas are good ideas now on the table. It's how they execute it that makes it good or not.
Son?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Aaron, you might get this one being a Simpsons fan yourself. There's always that one lady, I think, in the background who was crying, like, think of the children. I'm probably going to be that guy right now. Think of Seth Rollins' main event. Like, The Rock versus, like I said, that Cody, Roman working double duty for main events 1 and 2 would definitely be good. But it's like, man, in order to do that, we got to go ahead and say, Seth, you're out of the main event. And I'm like, dang, that would suck if he doesn't get his main event just because CM Punk got injured. So, yeah, it's interesting. And I was also going to mention this too. When it comes to The Rock, I wonder, a lot of people were obviously mentioning how gassed he looked after he beat up Jinder Mahal. Is The Rock in ring shape for a full-length match? Because I remember Stone Cold talking about how it would take about 4 months for him to get into ring shape. And if you remember, we started hearing the rumors of Austin training back in December. So by April, there's no wonder why Austin was never gassed in that match. So I wonder, is 2 months enough time for Rock to get into shape versus having maybe a year or 6 months to plan it out where he has more time? So that's going to be a concern, because when we do get Roman versus The Rock, you got to imagine The Rock wants to give it his best effort because he wants to go out on a high note and make sure that he lives up to expectations with this match.
Absolutely. And, you know, they started teasing it in January. And again, he might need a good 6 months to prepare for a match and get into the cardio shape. Now, Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat, says, why don't you just go all the way and have Rock being in Roman's corner, Stone Cold being in Cody's corner, and having Hogan as the special guest referee? I mean, that's a lot. I mean, I think that's a little bit over the top, but I mean,
we got to throw John Cena in there if you're going to do that. I do think the visual of Hogan, Rock, Austin, Cena, just having the 5 top biggest baby faces there in WrestleMania 40 in some capacity on screen would be a huge moment, because you have the biggest stars of WrestleMania there.
Well, if not that, and Walter, I'll get to you in a second. If not that, you could have them in attendance, and then when Cody walks back to the curtain, you know, Austin comes up to him, gives him a hug, Hogan gives him a hug, like all these biggest stars in wrestling salute Cody and put him over. Walter, what would you like to add to that?
Remember when The Rock did the 1, 2? It doesn't matter if I count to 3. You can do Hogan. 1, 2. It doesn't work for me, brother, to count to 3.
I don't even know if Hogan could get back up if he got down to make a count.
That's right.
The only thing about that.
What do you mean? He
But,
said he might have one more in him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seth's in the back burner of this. What if you do an open challenge match and you debut Okada in WrestleMania, and it's Okada versus Seth Rollins for that title?
Ooh,
there you go. Boom. Now you just instantly put Seth right back on top.
Another open challenge.
Back burner. Yeah.
That can't be. I don't think that could be the main event. A mystery opponent for the. I think they would have to debut Okada first. But I did think about that as well, Walter. When the question was posed, what would be the biggest way for Okada to debut on the main roster? It would be going for the World Heavyweight title.
And some people are thinking that maybe, this is Cody and The Rock setting up Roman Reigns as a possibility. Now, I don't think this is going to happen. More fantasy booking from Psycho Jet Black. He says, insane idea that might not happen. Cody is about to win the world title only to be screwed over by MJF. First night and already the biggest heel in WWE. The only problem with that is I think MJF's under contract to AEW. I mean, he's gone right now, but, he got hurt, so he's taking time off. It would have been a nice idea, though.
Aaron, if MJF signed back to AEW, that would be possibly the worst decision he can make with his career. I don't know who in their right mind would sign to a company that, okay, the money, whatever, but in 3 or 4 years, if he signs that deal, MJF might not be worth what he's worth right now going to WWE, because AEW does not know how to make a star. It's just like WCW back in the day. All the boys would say, go to New York so Vince can make you a star. I'm just saying, if MJF signed back to AEW, that'll be very disappointing to sign to a company that's half as popular to where you could go.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Tony not signing him would be the biggest mistake of Tony's career.
Well, yeah, I mean, if Tony, my point is MJF may have re-signed with AEW a long time ago, and all the 2024 talk was just for TV, and he was signed all along. Like, it would be crazy to book MJF as world champion for a year only for him to leave when his contract was up. Seems absolutely insane.
Especially with Jade Cargill, he put so much effort. One of the greatest wrestlers he's ever booked, I think. Jade Cargill, from top to bottom, honestly. You look at that, he put all that into Jade Cargill's character and star as a star, and then she went over to WWE, and he's done now the same thing with MJF. No way Tony Khan wants MJF to go right over to WWE. But it's also going to be down to what MJF wants. Obviously, WWE has the biggest platform, but AEW is where he's really built his legacy. And the thing is, even if he does sign with AEW, by the time, if he does like a 4 or 5 year contract, he'll still be late 20s, early 30s. So he'll still be young enough to make a move in WWE. So see where that goes.
Shout out to This Guy Experience. Oh, go ahead.
No, to be honest, legally speaking, injuries can extend contracts because you got hurt while that can extend your contract.
Yeah. This Guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat, says, I'm off work now, any time left on the stream. We're still going, man. So thank you for the super chat. Thank you for tuning in. We still got some more super chats here. And thank you to everybody for watching this live. Much appreciated. And Seth Rollins sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, am I the only one that missed the 2 free matches we got? Like in last year's WrestleMania kickoff, they were meaningless, but I wanted them, LOL. Like, what do you guys think of kickoff matches? Are they even necessary in this day and age? I think so.
I like to see the matches saved for the big show at WrestleMania.
I agree.
Or even just in PLEs in general. I like seeing the kickoffs being used where the commentators are hyping up the event, and then you use the actual show, put everybody on the actual show.
I agree 100% with that.
I'm a kickoff match guy. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to be watching a WWE preview show, You know what I mean? I'm gonna want to see a match or two. You know what I mean? Especially if it's with the what was the Carlito and his cousin Primo called. I mean, I don't want to see them guys in anything other than pre-show matches, to be honest with you. I was
Not if it makes it 7-8 hours though. Like, ugh, that's the
I
problem.
went to WrestleMania 28, Walter.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't that one 7 hours or something?
Yeah.
You know what? One thing that I did like about kickoff shows back in the Attitude Era, Sunday Night Heat, I don't think they would do too many matches, if all, but they would always do segments with a lot of the big stars that would lead into the actual pay-per-views. So if they want to do stuff like that, I'm definitely all for it. It worked back in the day for the Attitude Era on Sunday Night Heat.
Yeah, Sunday Night Heat was sweet. I went once live at the WWE restaurant in New York. Did you ever go catch one of those, Walter?
No, I never went.
Yeah, Sunday Night Heat was cool.
All right, we got a couple more here. Mean Guy 111 sent in $5. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Says, but as an old school fan, Rock gets a win versus Roman Reigns. We got to revisit the GOAT conversation because he would have been all the Mount Rushmore guys at WrestleMania. Okay, so I got this. You guys can answer this one. If Cody finishes the story and beats Roman Reigns, and then they do Roman Reigns versus The Rock, does The Rock win against Roman Reigns, or should Roman Reigns beat The Rock when the title's not on the line and it's just about the tribal chief who's the head of the table? Any thoughts on that? Rock or Roman? If it's not for the title, who should go over? I'm going to put you guys on the spot. You can just make your pick. Son, who's your pick?
Roman Reigns, if it's going to be once in a lifetime, got to put the younger guy over.
And I agree with that. Mikey?
Yeah, it's got to be Roman Reigns just so he can continue on afterwards and beat some more legends because he's got another 4 or 5 years left in him. But Aaron, I really appreciate you for having me on the stream. Son Goshku, Walter, it's been great on the stream with you guys. You know, I love the whole No DQ galaxy. Y'all are the best, man. Shout out to everybody that tapped in. If you're not subscribed to NoDQ.com, make sure you subscribe right now because Aaron has the best YouTube channel for hip-hop wrestling news, but he's also got the best news channel for wrestling as well, NoDQ.com. I've been following it since the late 90s, Aaron? The late 90s and shit back in the day when it was actually WCW.WWF.com. But everybody also follow me on YouTube as well. I've been doing my thing for like 12 years, and I appreciate you having me.
Well, appreciate. Are you signing off?
Yeah, I got to run. I got to eat dinner and stuff, but I appreciate the.
I would think you'd be eating dinner during the stream. Well, here's your YouTube channel, so you guys check that out. Thank you for being on, Mikey. We appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. And everybody, it's Report Card Radio on YouTube. What I do is hip hop interviews mostly and live streams as well. So tap in if you want. Appreciate it.
All right. Take it easy, Mikey. Thank you for being on tonight.
Peace, guys.
All right. We got a couple more super chats here, and then we'll wrap this up. Jay Claude sent in $5. Thank you for that. Says, what can make the world title on the level of the WWE Universal title or close to it? I mean, it's tough because Roman Reigns is the guy. Maybe once Cody wins the title, you can start putting Seth Rollins in the main events and alternate between them. Maybe every other pay-per-view, one Cody closes, the other Rollins closes, and make it even. And they're both workhorse titles and keep it going like that. Son, anything you would like to comment in regards to that?
Yeah, I agree. I think once the title gets on Seth Rollins and you just start having them, hey, the world title main event, the PLEs, and then you have the WWE title main event, you just switch between the two, and you have both on a main event, both on the you have both on a full-time basis, then it will seem like it's more on that level. But I do think the work Seth has put in has definitely been good in terms of being workhorse and putting on some good matches and everything like that. So I know the story is Roman's trying to diminish it, but I think Seth's done a great job with that world title. It wasn't here a year ago, and it means a lot now that people have been focusing it on the night one main event.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, how about Seth Rollins versus Stone Cold for the world title? Your thoughts, son?
Oh man, if Stone Cold's coming back for one more match, I imagine it would be with CM Punk. Look how tough it was to get Stone Cold to come back for 19
Yeah.
years. It was Kevin Owens that he was finally agreeing to work with. Austin always said on his podcast, if there was one person in particular, it'd be CM Punk. So I imagine if Austin were to come back for one more match, it's gonna be against CM Punk. And it's another thing where it's like Rock and Roman. Like if Rock only has so many matches left, then it's got to be him and Roman. So just like it would have to be Punk and Austin.
All right, thank you for that.
You already know who's gonna win that match. And Aaron, did you low key go, it doesn't matter what my pick is, because you totally skipped me on the pick?
No, I wasn't going to skip you. I wanted to get Suns first, but yeah, Walter, anything you would like to add to that as far as Seth Rollins and the world title, like what can be done to put it at the level of the Universal title?
No, you guys said it exactly what you said. No, I was talking about the Rock and the Roman pick that you were like saying you skipped me at because Mikey signed off. It like threw us all off. But
it's all good.
Yeah, no, for that you got to go with Roman because then you can turn him into the face that the company always wanted. That by you have the Rock acknowledge him at the end of it as the tribal chief, and then boom, he goes off on the babyface turn that WWE always wanted him. He's already getting the reactions now.
Now, Michael sent in a $2 super chat. Imagine this if Damian Priest cashed in after Cody Rhodes beat Roman Reigns. I mean, oh man, they got to have it with the world title, which again, I feel bad for Seth Rollins, but I feel like it's got to happen with that Raw title where Rollins gets beat. He cashed in at WrestleMania. Damian Priest, what goes around comes around type of scenario. Son?
Honestly, that's what I believe I really want the most, especially with the heel work he's been putting in. I like to see Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins go ahead, have their fourth match now in the main event of WrestleMania, and Drew finally gets his moment of winning the world title in the main event of WrestleMania in front of an audience, and then you have what's his name, Priest, come in and cash in and be like, oh yeah, you thought I forgot about what happened, that time, which would have been back in January. So yeah.
Walter, anything you would like to add to that?
Yeah, I like Sun's scenario, but yeah, like you almost forget about Priest's thing. I kind of want him to be the only one that kept the title. I meant the briefcase for the whole year, and he's forced to cash it in on the next Money in the Bank, because then you just don't know when he's going to cash it in, but it's got to be that night. But like, almost be the only one that's ever done that.
Yeah, that would be odd though. Like if he doesn't cash in at WrestleMania, I think he looks like a complete idiot. But that's just me.
Roman and you want to make the audience mad. Roman beats Cody, and Priest cashes in.
I don't think that's going to happen.
He yells to the audience, "I finished my story. All right."
If that happens, then I think Vince McMahon is definitely back. Like I just cannot see that happening.
What if here's the scenario? What if Priest? This would be the funniest shit ever. I just thought of this. What if Priest goes to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase? They open the briefcase and the contract is no longer in there because Truth took it out. And Truth took his contract. And like now you make that a thing. Truth and Priest, that thing. Now Priest can't cash in. That'll be hilarious. It'll make Priest look weak, but that'll be actually hilarious.
The thing is, the only problem that would ruin that is the fact that we've seen many times on WWE TV where they've used the briefcase and it goes flying open and there's nothing in there. Yeah. But I what I thought you were going to say was he makes it a triple threat match. Cody's about to finish the story, but then Roman, he ends up spearing Priest, pins him 1, 2, 3, and runs out of there.
Oh man!
By the way, people, I'm kidding. I want to see Cody finish the story, but I do think the crowd reaction would be hilarious. But yeah, don't go that way. It's funny to fantasize, but please don't go that way, WWE.
I think it's more likely that Damian Priest will cash in on Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
I think he should. Yeah, definitely.
Hamp Connell sent in $2 and says, I think Triple H has to be in Cody Rhodes' corner now. Where does Triple H fit in with all this? I mean, I don't really see him being on camera much, but he could always come out if the situation calls for it. Like, do you guys think he should be more involved in this storyline now with The Rock and Roman Reigns? Walter, any thoughts on this?
Triple H and Cody? I don't know. Do you really want the boss to be getting involved in that? Really? And plus, the problem is then we know he's got that heart condition, and once he does that and he gets involved, then people are going to be wanting to see him in the ring to have to do something with it, and then he can't because of the heart condition. So I would have Triple H avoid it at all costs.
Good point. Do you agree with that, son?
Yeah, Triple H, you can't get physical, so you want to keep those limits because you can only tease so much when it comes to a match. But I did get goosebumps seeing him and The Rock go face to face one more time. Seriously, going back and forth when he's like, you need to fix this. He's like, that was out of line. Like, that was good to see a little bit of my childhood, one of my favorite all-time rivalries right there. One more time, that was great.
Dave is a Beastly sent in a $2 super chat, says they should set up Roman Reigns versus The Rock for 1 year, which is what they might end up doing. We talked about possible scenarios. They may wait 1 more year, give it plenty of build up. As Rock said, the long build. That was the key phrase that he mentioned several weeks ago. I mean, even before the Royal Rumble, he even said it, talking about the long build. I believe it was before WrestleMania. It was right after his appearance on Raw that he said we're in it for the long build. And to me, that means WrestleMania 41, giving it enough time to build, and they can have the twists and turns. Set it up, with WrestleMania 40, and then let The Rock have a good 6 months to build up his cardio and train, so he can give the best match possible. Walter?
I hate to be negative, but the one problem with that is that you age up. You don't age down. So
yeah,
you
that's true.
Him getting older and then
Steve Austin did the match with Kevin Owens,
He was closer. He was closer to 60. So yeah, it can be done.
I mean, it can be done, but you're right. They gotta. If they don't pull the trigger on it this year, it's got to be next year. Like, they can't wait to 42. Like, it's got to be
now or never.
It's got to be either this year or next year. And Seth Rollins sent in a $5 super chat, says, this is a futuristic question, but when does Roman Reigns turn face? After his coming absence break or too soon? Walter, you go first.
After The Rock acknowledges him as the tribal chief, right then and there. He's going to automatically go face. Then you let him disappear, take a little hiatus, and when he's come back, just like when his cancer came back and he come back, he'll get the biggest pop.
Well said. What do you think, son?
Yeah, there's a few ways you can do it. You can do it as soon as WrestleMania 40. You could have him be the one to endorse Cody, like he takes the title away from the referee, handing it to him, and he hands it to Cody and says, I acknowledge you. You can do it maybe if him and Solo eventually have a feud, and then he acknowledges Solo as the new tribal chief. Or ultimately Roman takes a big leave, and then he comes back for a big match, and they hype it up, and that's sort of like his return. Definitely, I think probably sooner or later. That's probably the best route to go, I would say, one of those 3 ways.
Yeah, and I do think Roman Reigns will turn face after he loses the title, and I don't know if it'll be with the Rock match, but I do think that he'll be humbled. That's what's going to turn him face again, is getting humbled. Losing his bloodline, losing everything will humble him, and he'll come back as a face and have one more run as a good guy. Now, the man 0001 sent in a $2, said CM Punk and Big E should host WrestleMania. I agree. Big E was very entertaining as well. We didn't give him enough love. He's always fun to watch. Him and CM Punk as the co-hosts for WrestleMania. I say do it. I say it would be fun.
Yeah.
Like, let them work together, kind of like what Hulk Hogan and Titus O'Neil did, but better. Like, it'll be more entertaining with those guys, I think.
Hey, by the way, Aaron,
it's good to see Big E.
Shout out to the manager one. That's my friend that you met when we were at SummerSlam, the one that got me into No DQ. So that's why I'm here. He introduced me to No DQ, and I haven't looked back since.
I appreciate it.
Who's getting all this? Randy Orton. Like, what the hell do you do with him now?
Solo.
People are getting. Yeah, but you could do AJ versus Solo too.
I think it's my guess is it's LA Knight versus AJ Styles and Randy Orton versus Solo Sikoa for WrestleMania, if I had to make a prediction at this point. But yeah, I'd like to see Randy Orton get into the mix at some point too. I mean, we never got that singles match. But anyways, guys, I think we're finally caught up with everything, and we had a great discussion tonight. So again, thank you, son. Thank you, Walter. Thank you to Mikey T. Thank you, good old JM, for participating in the chat room, getting heated with a few people. It's all good. Son, anything you would like to plug or promote for everybody out there?
Yes. I don't know if you got my did you get my other graphic I sent you?
I'm not sure if I have the updated one or not. I'll try to see if
Okay.
I can find it on here.
Yeah, but yeah, you can follow me on YouTube. That's where all my main content is. So basically, up there, I upload a lot of wrestling content, from reviews of the top main 4 PLE events, as well as ranking them. So that's got a lot more high quality in terms of having a lot of different images of the event as I talk about it. And as well as you can see, I am a big anime fan. So if you like Dragon Ball, especially particularly, I do a lot of content like that. There you go, my live action short film that's based on anime. So yeah, I definitely want to check out any of my acting content and visual effects with the cinematography and everything. You can see all that on my YouTube channel, which is basically at Songoshuku, SONGOSHUAKU. And you can follow me on the other platforms as well, such as X, Twitter, well, yeah, X and Twitter, and Facebook, and Instagram, and TikTok. So yeah, it's been a while since I've been here on No DQ, so thank you all for having me. Hey, everyone, always support No DQ. Say yes to No DQ. Everything. Look at the merchandise. Buy the merchandise. And Aaron, keep going ahead. And everybody else that supports No DQ, Team No DQ, let's keep all making this a fun spot for pro wrestling, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Pro wrestling is supposed to be fun for us, and I think we are all having a lot of fun right now. So definitely, Aaron, thanks for having me, and much love and blessings to you all out there in No DQ Galaxy.
See if this works. My emojis aren't working anymore. Oh, there it
There
goes.
it
Yeah, they are.
goes.
There it goes.
It's the new for Macintosh users. You get the emojis now. Jeff Meacham is going live on his channel, so head over there to the Jeff Meacham Network. He'll be talking about all the latest things going on in wrestling right now, and there are the brands associated with the multiverse of media. Walter, anything you would like to plug or promote?
Yeah, I just went live before this and gave a live reaction as it was going on. So if people can go back and watch the Rage of Wrestling YouTube channel and watch that. Also got February 17th, we got UFC 298. So I'll be doing a watch along with that. And then you got Cal Fire Farms on Instagram and X. If you just want to follow me for fun, it's at Walter Alex Cruz. And thanks as always for having me up here, Aaron.
Yep, a pleasure to have you guys on, and NoDQ.com will keep you posted. Like it's been a crazy 2024 so far. Like I've had a few slow days as far as news goes. Like it's just been coming in from when The Rock showed up the first night on Raw with Jinder Mahal, and then the Royal Rumble, the Vince McMahon scandal, and now the WrestleMania main event stuff, the TNA wrestling drama that's going on right now. I mean, there's just been so much, and we're barely 2 months into the year. Walter.
Make a bold prediction. Do they hinder the gender, or does he get a WrestleMania match this year now?
I don't think he gets a WrestleMania match.
They're going to hinder him?
I think he's getting hindered, but, you could always bring him in for a little comedy segment every now and then when you need him. Like he could be that guy, comes out there, cuts the promo, and then a surprise debut shows up, like Braun Breaker shows up and beats him up. Jinder has his role. He knows his role, and he shuts his mouth. But
hey, I just wanted to add too, we got AEW as well. They got some big things going on with that Boston show. So
a lot going on in AEW. NoDQ.com will keep you updated. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Much love and appreciation. And say yes to NoDQ.com, NoDQ.com/merch. Buy a shirt, and we will see you all next time.